In terms of Meghan, her podcast is launching today, isn't it? Will you be listening, Kinsey?
No, is this another? What do you mean? I thought she had podcasts.
It's the new one. Confessions of a Female Entrepreneur.
Confessions of a Female Entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's Confessions of a Female Founder. And let me tell you, I would not start with Meghan Markle, who had to issue apologies to her customers, as ever customers, because they purchased and paid for a $28 bottle of honey, and Meghan didn't have the product. So she had to reach out to those customers and say, I'm so sorry, this product doesn't exist. There was a glitch in the system. You can have another product. You can have a refund. I'll send you some honey at a later date. But this is incredibly embarrassing for somebody that's trying to brand herself as a girl boss and Confessions of a Female Founder. Hopefully this is episode 1. But if I were a consumer, I'd be so angry watching all of the Kardashians and all of the famous friends opening up their as ever packages, their swag bags, knowing that I'm being told there's not enough product when Kim Kardashian got hers for free.
There's something fascinating happening in the world of Meghan Markle's business ventures, and the more it unfolds, the harder it becomes to ignore. Every time a new product launches, every time a collaboration is announced, and every time a business move is made, a familiar cycle seems to kick into motion. The critics rush in, the headlines appear, the predictions of disaster start flying. Social media accounts dedicated to criticizing Meghan confidently announce that failure is just around the corner. Yet somehow, when the dust settles, the results tell a completely different story. And this week provided another perfect example. A major conversation erupted after a publication highlighted criticism surrounding the collaboration between As Ever and Clevr blends. According to the reports, some online critics dismissed the partnership before many people had even had the chance to experience it. They described it with harsh language. They claimed the strategy was flawed. They argued that consumers were growing tired of the approach. Some even predicted that the products would sit unsold, forcing massive discounts or inventory clearances. The certainty was remarkable. The confidence was unwavering. The predictions were dramatic. And then something happened that completely changed the narrative. The Strawberry Matcha Set sold out. Yes, sold out. While critics were busy explaining why the collaboration would fail, customers were busy purchasing it. While articles were discussing why the strategy supposedly didn't work, consumers were clicking checkout. While social media accounts were predicting doom and disaster, the products were quietly disappearing from inventory. And that contrast is worth talking about because it highlights a pattern that has become increasingly difficult to ignore. For more than a year now, we have seen the same sequence play out over and over again. A new Meghan-related project is announced. Critics immediately declare it a mistake. Articles appear repeating negative reactions. Social media fills with predictions of failure. People become curious. Traffic increases. Interest grows. Customers visit the website. Products sell. And suddenly, the same people who predicted catastrophe are left scrambling to explain why reality didn't match their forecasts. It's almost like watching the same movie on repeat. The characters change slightly. The headlines get rewritten. The wording evolves. But the ending remains remarkably consistent. What makes this situation particularly interesting is the source of much of the criticism. Some of the loudest negative commentary often comes from accounts that have built entire online identities around criticizing Meghan and Harry. Their audiences expect criticism, so criticism is what gets delivered. Yet somehow these same voices continue to be presented as if they represent broad public opinion. But do they? Because if they truly reflected consumer sentiment, we would expect the sales figures to mirror their predictions. Instead, we're seeing products sell out. We're seeing demand remain strong. We're seeing customers continue to show up. And that raises an important question. Who exactly are consumers listening to? The answer may be simpler than many people realize. Consumers aren't necessarily making purchasing decisions based on social media arguments. They're evaluating products for themselves. They're looking at branding. They're considering quality. They're deciding whether something appeals to them. And if it does, they're buying it. That's exactly what appears to have happened with the Strawberry Matcha Set. The collaboration combined products from two brands that already share a natural connection. Clevr Blends has built a reputation around wellness-focused beverages and modern lifestyle branding. As ever has been creating products designed around elevated everyday experiences. Bringing those worlds together wasn't random. It was strategic. It made sense. The collection was presented as a celebration of summer mornings, offering customers a curated experience rather than simply selling individual products. And let's be honest, people love experiences. Modern consumers increasingly gravitate toward products that tell a story. They want aesthetics. They want lifestyle. They want something that feels special. The collaboration delivered exactly that. Visually, it aligned with the established identities of both brands. The presentation was polished, the branding felt cohesive, the products complemented each other naturally, and perhaps most importantly, the target audience understood exactly what was being offered. That's something critics often overlook. Successful branding isn't about appealing to everyone. It's about appealing to the people most likely to connect with your vision. Not every product needs universal approval. Not every customer needs to be interested. Businesses thrive when they understand their audience. And based on the sales results, it's clear that this audience understood the assignment. What we're witnessing is a growing disconnect between online criticism and marketplace reality. Critics can generate headlines, they can dominate comment sections, they can create viral discussions. But at the end of the day, sales remain one of the clearest indicators of consumer behavior. People vote with their wallets, and wallets don't care about social media narratives. Wallets respond to interest. Wallets respond to value. Wallets respond to desire. The sold-out notification says more than 1,000 angry tweets ever could. Think about it for a moment. If a strategy truly doesn't work, customers don't buy. If a product truly lacks appeal, customers don't buy. If a brand truly has no audience, customers don't buy. The marketplace is incredibly honest. Consumers either show up or they don't. In this case, they showed up. And they showed up fast enough to clear inventory. That reality deserves attention because it challenges many assumptions that have become popular within certain corners of the internet. For years, some commentators have insisted that Meghan's popularity is collapsing. For years, they've predicted that public interest is disappearing. For years, they've claimed audiences have moved on. Yet every successful launch tells a different story. Every sold-out product tells a different story. Every partnership tells a different story. Every business milestone tells a different story. The evidence keeps pointing in the same direction. There is still significant interest. There is still significant engagement. And perhaps most importantly, there is still significant purchasing power behind that interest. One of the most fascinating aspects of this phenomenon is how criticism itself often becomes part of the marketing process. When critics attack a product, they unintentionally introduce it to new audiences. People who never would have heard about the launch suddenly become aware of it. Curiosity kicks in. consumers investigate. Some discover that they actually like what they see. And before long, criticism has transformed into free advertising. It's an irony that continues to repeat itself. The louder the outrage becomes, the more visibility the product receives. The more visibility the product receives, the more traffic arrives. The more traffic arrives, the greater the opportunity for conversion. And when conversions happen, businesses succeed. That doesn't mean every product will always sell out. No business enjoys perfect results every single time. That's not how commerce works. But what it does mean is that simplistic predictions of failure often ignore the complexity of consumer behavior. People are more independent than critics sometimes assume. They make their own decisions. They evaluate products for themselves. And they often arrive at conclusions that differ dramatically from what online commentators predict. The story here isn't just about a matcha bundle. It's about perception versus reality. It's about narratives versus outcomes. It's about assumptions versus evidence. And right now the evidence is speaking very clearly. Consumers continue to engage with Meghan's ventures. Consumers continue to support her projects. Consumers continue to demonstrate enthusiasm for products connected to her brand. That doesn't mean everyone loves every product. Of course not. No brand enjoys universal approval. But success doesn't require universal approval. Success requires a loyal audience. Success requires demand. Success requires customers. And the sold-out status suggests those ingredients remain firmly in place. As we watch these conversations unfold, perhaps it's time to ask whether some commentators are spending too much energy predicting outcomes and not enough time understanding audiences. Because audiences have repeatedly demonstrated that they don't always behave the way critics expect. The marketplace has become the ultimate fact-checker. Not opinions, not assumptions, not speculation, the marketplace. And this week, the marketplace delivered its verdict once again. The Strawberry Matcha Set sold out. That simple fact says everything. It cuts through the noise. It cuts through the arguments. It cuts through the predictions. Consumers saw the collaboration. Consumers evaluated it. Consumers made their choice. And their choice was clear. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this discussion and appreciate balanced conversations about Meghan and Harry and their growing influence beyond royal headlines, make sure you subscribe to Sussex Champions. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our growing community. Every day we dive deeper into the stories, achievements, and developments that mainstream coverage often overlooks. As this latest chapter demonstrates, the story isn't simply about criticism. It's about resilience. It's about persistence. And it's about the ability to keep moving forward despite constant scrutiny. Time and time again, predictions of failure have been met with evidence of success. Time and time again, negative headlines have been followed by positive outcomes. Time and time again, critics have underestimated the strength of the audience supporting Meghan's ventures. Whether future launches follow the same path remains to be seen. But if recent history has taught us anything, it's that writing off a project before consumers have their say may not be the wisest strategy. Because at the end of the day, the audience always gets the final vote. And once again, the audience has spoken. Thank you for joining us here on Sussex Champions. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think criticism surrounding Meghan's business ventures helps generate even more attention and sales? Share your perspective and join the conversation. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe to Sussex Champions. Your support helps us continue bringing thoughtful discussions, deeper analysis, and positive coverage of Meghan and Harry's evolving journey. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you in the next episode.